And I'm joined with Becky. How's it going?
It's going good. How are you, Kenny?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, no problem.
So we scheduled this interview. I'm guessing a couple of weeks back, and due to circumstances, we was unable to get it make it happen. But here we are.
Correct.
So
Yes,
um,
sir.
so we all
I'm
good.
glad to be feeling much better.
Yeah. Now I remember you was under the weather that day. So I'm
Yeah,
glad.
I had a bad trip to the dentist, and it turned my lip inside out. So,
Oh no.
yeah,
Um.
no fun there.
Yeah, it's one thing to be sick by yourself, but when you go through that, obviously finger pointing, blaming comes to territory. Um,
Yeah.
it happens, and I mean, maybe we put too much pressure on these dentists and doctors and whatnot, but things happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I just had a reaction to the medicine they used on me, so it worked out. A couple days later, I was back to being able to talk and eat. So,
so how did you get started as a musician? How did it start off for you?
well, I am the middle of 9 children of a preacher's daughter. So, Daddy had us in church from day one, singing, running up down the aisles, doing our thing. Mom used to hang onto my hand in the pulpit so I wouldn't get out and make mischief. But, yeah, I've been singing for as long as I can remember.
Okay, did you say 9 children, as in 9 kids?
Uh-huh. 9 kids, yeah.
Wow. Shout out to
Yeah.
moms.
Big shout out to Mom, yeah.
you know, going through one or two kids is one thing, but nine, wow.
Yep, and I'm the middle, so.
Yeah, she could put together a basketball team with that.
We used to say we were just short a little bit of a baseball team, We just needed a couple more.
All that too. It could be like that, or like a whole offensive team or whatever for
That's
football.
right. That's
But
right.
shout out to moms.
Yes.
She's amazing for pulling that off, and everyone turned out okay. So I've heard of you through mutual friends, local
Uh-huh.
artists, and you put out a record recently, and I got a chance to hear a couple songs. Uh,
Uh-huh.
3 Mile Creek, I Am Love, or a couple of songs I've heard. I love
Yeah.
the record. Talk a little bit about this project and what was it like recording it?
Well, the project came about in kind of a strange way. Over the years, people have said, "Oh, do you have a record?" And I sang at local churches and different things with the university when I was taking classes there. And I had a lady come to me at a concert and ask me if I had a record, and I said, no, not yet. I'm working on something. But she told me she was dying. She had stage 4 cancer.
Mm.
And this was in a break in between sets, and I went backstage and cried. Oh, my gosh, I just cried like crazy. And I came out, and the next song up was Wayfaring Stranger. Well, I forgot the words to the song, and I was like, oh, no. So I made it through the song, but I told myself after that moment, I said, I'm gonna do a record, and that's gonna be on it. I saw the lady a year or so later, and she's perfectly healthy. The cancer's gone. But I dedicated that song to her that day, and that was the catalyst for the record. I went back to school and told the professor, I want to record. I want to do this. And it took probably 6 or 8 months after that before I really got to go into the studio and make a set list and do a lot of practicing and some scratch tracks. But it took off, and I think it took about a year to do it, I think, and put it out, and we're running with it.
So for people that may not know, let people know the name of the album and where can people purchase it online or maybe in shows that you're doing.
Yeah, this is 3 Mile Creek, and you can find it on iTunes, Spotify, CD Baby. The local stores in Moorhead have it at Coffee Tree Books, and I believe Pop's Resale in Lexington is carrying it. It'll be in a couple other places there eventually, but you can look me up on Facebook. If you're local, I'll drop it off to you, or I can mail it or whatever. But, yeah, it's on all the big venues. You can just reach out and grab it. But, yeah, it's got several songs on it that I wrote, and I did a couple traditional, and some throwbacks for family, and this, that, and the other. But just had a real learning experience choosing the right songs and in the right order and getting the right people to sing and play on them.
I definitely love the project. Congratulations on the release and everything. And everybody, make sure you go get that 3 Mile Creek from Becki. Love me some local music. Support local music. Support your local artists.
Yeah.
Your local businesses and everything, and venues, etc. A lot of talented people out here. And I noticed I seen a picture of you. I think you was wearing a T-shirt. Listen locally. I know I know some friends out here in Lexington that has started, I guess, an initiative, a movement, I like to call it. Encouraging people to, like I said, listen locally. How did you? Are you just an artist there, or is it like? How would you best describe listen locally? For you as an artist.
Well, I actually know Renee and Warren and Whitney, who are all part of Listen Locally, and we all have the same mindset of getting out and supporting your local artists, if it's music or if it's an actual fine art or crafts or whatever they do. But the Listen Locally part really refers to music and spoken word. I love it. I love the concept of it. When they first brought it out, I was like, oh, that's great, and then they ran with it. I just say kudos to all of them who are involved in it and really promoting the people, and listen to the people. These are your neighbors. These are your friends and your family even. But, I'm a big proponent of going and listening to local people and supporting them and showing up if, I may be the only person there, but show up.
Pretty much. So, in music, people like to categorize artists, trying to figure out what they are, what direction they go musically. For you, Becki, how would you best describe your music per se?
I am folk, Americana. I grew up with bluegrass, so I have that in my roots. I like old country. I like blues and jazz and reggae. I like a little bit of everything. And I actually spoke with someone not too long ago. I told her, I said, everybody has a box, but I don't have one. I like it all. So if it's out there. But for the main genre, mostly of the record, it's definitely folk and Americana, and easy listening if you even like that term. But that's a good way to categorize it, I think.
I like that. I've started listening to all types of music the last several years, and me supporting local music kind of led into all types. I didn't want to be in a box per se. Like,
correct.
Some people would say, well, maybe you're a little bit too open-minded, listening to all types of music. That may be the case, but as long as there's a message behind it, as long as it's intriguing, and my head is nodding, I'm gonna listen to you. I'm gonna vibe with you. I
agree 100%.
So if you got a purpose, whether it's about you or a significant other, or just something in particular that you are passionate about, or whatever the case may be, you go for it.
Absolutely.
So it's all good with me. I listen to whatever. I don't want to just stick to just one genre or whatever.
Yeah.
And when I first started this radio show, I mostly interview artists that are hip hop, rock, and pop. Now it's country, folk, Americana, jazz, soul. We'll interview anyone that's got music that wants to get themselves out there. So,
well, it's so important. Music is universal, and that language goes across everybody. And so regardless of what package it's in with your genre of music, it's still music, I have a music collection that goes from the Gregorian chant to headbanging and everything in between, and I like it all. And there's something for everybody in all of it. So, I usually just tell people, I try to put myself in that box, in that mindset of, oh, I won't listen to that. Like you said, if it's got a good message, it's got a good rhythm to it, I'm going to listen and I'm going to like it.
So, for you, Becky, you talked about the genres and everything. As far as artists, who do you consider your musical influences? It could be anyone mainstream, independently, locally. Who are your musical influences?
Well, I have to give props to Mom and Dad because both of them are musicians in their own right. Daddy was one of these country boys who grew up on Hank Snow and Hank Williams, and I'm sure I'm going to forget a few names that I can't recall. Daddy will be 80 this year, so he grew up in the day where country was being born. Well, Mom, on the other hand, was a classically trained pianist who brought a different vibe to the family. And so those are my two biggest inspirations in seeing what they did with music as their ministry. But when I start listening to things, I'm a big fan of Chris Christopherson and Janis Joplin and Bonnie Raitt, Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash. I mean, I grew up stealing the radio and listening to old country while I wasn't supposed to be. So I tend to gravitate toward that. But when you get into the newer genres, I like Katie Tunstall and Adele and some of the newer country artists. Mavis Staples. My husband's sitting next to me, and I'm a Mavis Staples fan, and I'm really upset that I missed her last concert in Lexington. But, I like anything that has soul, that speaks to me, that connects with me. And that's why I say I don't listen to just one thing. I want to, if you connect with me, I'm there, right there with you.
So, do you have any upcoming shows, performances that people need to keep an eye on?
I do have something, but I don't have it nailed down yet. They can go to BeckiAlfreyMusic.com to keep up with my schedule, and I always do blurbs on Facebook and Instagram telling when the shows are coming up. But I've got a show coming up August the 11th, I believe, but I don't have details as to time and place yet. But I've been pursuing a third degree, and so I've kind of kept my shows down to a minimum. And, of course, I'm working on album number 2. We're going to start doing some scratch tracks on it. So just haven't been out playing a whole lot. Doing a lot of jamming at home, though, so just to keep in practice.
Sounds good. And until album 2, everybody go give 3 Mile Creek a listen from Becky. Is available on all digital music platforms and all the CD stores that she mentioned in Lexington and Moorhead. Go get them as well. And Becky, great chatting with you, and hopefully you'll come back to Lexington in the future so I can actually meet you. And
yes, we'll do that.
So I look forward to that. I'll keep an eye on your social media feeds for that. But until then, thank you so much for being on the show. Continued success, and thanks for being on.
All right, thank you, Kenny.
You have a good night. Have a good weekend.
You too. All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.